G'day, everyone. Welcome to extra special episode of Lawn Care Skull Sessions today. As you can see, we don't have the usual studio setup. Joining me, though, is our good mate BJ from the Bearded Lawnsman. Mate, how are you?
Yeah, good, brother. What's happening?
Just everything pretty much, with the weather. Tough times for you and I at the moment and all other Queenslanders mainly.
Yeah, mate. Well, it looks like New South Wales are in trouble as well at the moment. It's a bit sad.
Yeah, I mean, especially by the time this episode comes out, we'll know the true effects. But it's a Monday right now, and we've just come off the back of like 5 days of nonstop fucking pelting rain.
Yeah, it was wild, man. It honestly is like no other rain event that I've ever seen. It's sort of unheard of. Well, I mean, like we had the 2011 floods, but 2011 floods were like a shitload of rain over a couple of weeks. This was 4 or 5 days of just fucking torrential bombardment, and it just led to everything just overflowing, and the impact's going to be felt for weeks to come, all the way down the coast. So,
Yeah, and I experienced the 2011 as a mower man, and I remember it being an awful time, but I do remember, I recall what you were saying. It was sort of like a build up,
yeah,
and then not only that, I remember it being really a catastrophic event,
yeah,
and all we kept hearing over the weekend was that, this is going to be bad, but it's not going to be as bad as 2011. And some areas were well and truly,
oh,
Grantham, all of those areas, it's only been 10 years later and exactly the same deal.
exactly. They say it's a once in a lifetime event, the 2011 floods, but two in 10 years is a big jump. But hopefully we don't see anything like this for a long time.
Well, I mean, we've got Queenslanders that have, they lived through the 74 to 2011 and, now 2022 again. So I think we'll just quickly take a second to, just give everyone that's doing it tough out there a mention. Like I've seen lots of our lawn mowing buddies, sleeping in supermarkets, watching cars flood in car parks, all of that. I won't mention any names, but, definitely just want to say I hope you guys and girls are all safe, and hopefully you can recoup and just get back on with life.
Yeah, and if anyone needs a chat, there's so many avenues. There's so many people willing to have a chat too. So reach out. We're always on the blower, so reach out, share your story. But yeah, it's fucking terrible. My mum was actually in Laidley when the 2011 floods sort of hit, and she's got a lot of friends down there, and that Laidley, the whole center of town just got washed away. So I know in 2011, so believe it or not, before the Brisbane River flooded, we actually were on holiday. So Louise, my wife, she was like 26 weeks pregnant or something, and we went up to Burham Heads, which is about a 4-hour drive out of Brisbane. And that 4-hour drive took us 10 hours. And by the time we got up there, everything was cut off. And,
yeah, I mean, I think
so it wasn't the worst thing. We couldn't get back, but, what do you do?
I think if you were to try and do that drive right now, you'd end up sleeping on the side of the road somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
well, we did pull up and have a few beers on the side of the road. I will admit that. Couldn't do much else.
So just quickly, if we can explain to anyone, our listeners, the reason why we're not together is because you're dealing with some Coco-19.
Yeah, Coco-19 has hit my little lady upstairs. So as soon as my wife found out, tested the daughter, I hadn't been around her. So thank God it's been so busy because I haven't really seen her. She's got a lot of training and stuff. So I've actually moved in with my daughter downstairs. So my eldest daughter has a severe disability, and she has this bachelor pad down here, lounge room, kitchen, bedroom. She's decked out. So I've just taken a portion of that away from her. Not that I can touch her TV because that's her domain. But yeah, man, I found myself yesterday so bored that I was just placing stickers on random shit. And I was just looking around, just looking for things to put stickers on. I was like, oh, because it was absolutely boring yesterday from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed, which was pretty fucking late because the brickwork on one side of our house decided that it couldn't take anymore and started leaking water in at a significant rate. So I was out until I was busting tiles up to sort of let the water out of our house at like I think it was 11 o'clock. So I don't know what happened, but our neighbour's pool looks like the Brisbane River. I think that's half of our shit. Ours is crystal clear, but the neighbours, yeah, their pool's fucking cactus.
Yeah, well, same deal with me. I was not out as late as you were, but I was copping it sweet in the Catch Pro shed, and it sort of got to the point where I thought, it's time to do some sandbagging. Ugh. And luckily the council yard is on my street, and I was trying to sweep water, and I was hopeful. I was thinking, yesterday around, which was Sunday early evening, 6 o'clock, I thought, surely it's going to stop. By about 8 o'clock, I realized I had to do some sandbagging before we started seeing Catch Pro units flow down the street. So anyway, I did do that, and we had minimal damage inside the shed, which is great. However, with Greenscape Solutions, we're having an absolute bastard of a time. Workers can't get to work. We can't get on any of those sites. We're probably going to be feeling the effects of this for a couple of weeks.
100%. Yeah, I'm behind as well. I'm behind a week. I mean, what do? I called up one of my villagers today. Creek is actually backed up and is actually flowing through the site. It's my biggest site. And they said, look, it's not worth you coming and bringing your machines in. Like, it's just not worth it today. Leave it to tomorrow when the water subsides, and we'll do, we'll probably go and we'll more than likely just be doing cleanup because, that's fucked. To have like
So what do you do when you can't go to work? We shoot a podcast.
Yeah, man, that's it.
And that brings us to today's topic. Today we're going to be talking about downtime, bad weather. Couldn't have come at a better time. Before we get there, everyone's probably, anyone who's viewing this content is probably like, yo, why has this dude got shades on? So this is just a quick plug. We've got some new safety shades. BJ's repping the shirt. We'll see if the camera can flick back. You might have to talk. I don't know.
Bad workwear. Nah. Oh, shit. I forgot. Yeah, Zoom. Yeah, look at me. Rocking my new bad workwear. Yeah.
So anyway, now what I do want to tell our audience is that these bad safety shades. Now, you can go on the Bad Workwear website and use code SKULL to save 10%. Now, if you come to the Catch Pro website to get these, you can also use the same code, SKULL in caps. And, we have had some people reach out and say, where should we buy them from, Ben? Now, all I can really suggest is that if you're going to the Bad website, you want to buy some pants or a shirt, something that we don't stock, then absolutely grab the sunnies from there. If you're coming to the Catch Pro site and we've got something else that you want to get along with the shades, then get them there. Just whatever makes sense for you. The code works on both websites. And it'll also work across our boot range now as well. We might eventually get some of the shirts and stuff in. At the moment, we're just starting off with a few of the products and going from there.
Make sure you get big sizes.
Yeah.
Although this 2XL, this is a different style of shirt that I've got on today. Did you say this was a new style that I grabbed?
Yep, that's a newer style.
I don't know what it's called.
Neither do I actually. I just know it's a looser fitting shirt.
Sexy shirt. You reckon?
It's the bearded one.
Yeah. No, it's good, man. It's comfy. most shirts aren't long enough for me. That's the problem I have. I'm round, so obviously, like sometimes, a shirt might not fit around the tum tum, but normally it's a length issue for me. So these ones are sick, and I'll probably buy a couple more because. Would you class this as high vis?
Look, probably
on the back.
not. Yeah, I mean, look, realistically,
behind.
Yeah, I mean, probably not. But at the end of the day, they're pretty slick shirts. So if you're ever in a situation, I know what we do is we just bung a vest on if we do need high visibility.
Yeah.
Other than that, we're freestyling.
Nice. Oh man!
Wow. Before we get to the episode, do we need to do a little bit of housekeeping, bro?
Yeah. I got a few shout outs. I got one from Adam Vinicombe, our pal from LMCA. He said, "Love it, 5-star review. Absolutely love the content, fellas. Have been a bit late to the table, but have listened to all the episodes this week while working. Have learned so much that I didn't know. For someone who's been in the game for 4 years now. Great content. I'm so keen for the weekly updates. Adam Vinicombe. Thanks, brother. He's a good dude.
Yeah, well done, brother.
Yeah. And from our pal, Steve Tyrrell. He's always a good bloke. 5-star review as well. Awesome content. Even after 3 decades in the business, still learning new things all the time. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for that, dude. He's another LMCA boy.
Yeah, so I've got one here. I've got one on YouTube. It's from Elite Landscapes, and I'm assuming this bro is in America because I do see an American flag, and he says, "G'day, mates. Much love to you, my brothers down under." So, we really appreciate that comment. Thank you, Elite Landscapes. If you're listening to this current episode, reach back out. And let us know what state you're in, because it's always cool to learn where other people are, and hopefully you're laying down some real stripes soon. We just do those pretend stripes here.
We'll be dropping mud tracks for the next 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, and while we're here and we're just doing a few housekeeping and plugs and stuff, everyone that's listening, don't forget to get on the Stripe Life Facebook page. We've been chatting to these guys personally in a private thread, and they're a couple of really good down to earth blokes that genuinely are interested in the Australian market.
Yeah, I sent them a picture of my V-Ride stripes the other day. They didn't mind it. Still not stripes like they bust out, but yeah, I'm doing all right. 2.25 inches versus 4 inches. So
yep. So then wheel tracks that they get going.
Yeah, man. They have some mad merch too. I got a hat. You got a hat.
I got 2 hats, bro.
Oh, you got 2 hats.
Yeah. I'm probably going to pick up one of their hoodies or something later on too. I didn't pull the trigger on it just yet because the thought of wearing a hoodie scares me. But come winter time, I'll probably try and pick up some of that additional gear.
I'm excited. Are you excited for winter?
Look, I am a little bit. Like I love the winter time in my career, but I love the summertime in my recreational life.
Okay, fair enough.
Taking the kids out to the beach and going swimming, all of that. We really love doing all of that sort of stuff. I don't care too much. I like the longer days as well. I don't care too much for summer in most other aspects apart from recreation and leisure time.
Yeah, it gets a bit rough. Oh, guess what I hear outside, Benny? It's raining again.
It actually did rain again here.
Did it?
We started this. Only lightly. And I will admit, any rain right now would piss me off.
I was thinking, I was going to be sitting here and it's going to start lapping at my feet again.
Yeah, we haven't fully cleaned up, but we've tidied areas, and we just need to, I just really need some sunny days, and like I've got that type of personality as well, where like if I don't see sun for a few days, I get like deeply depressed. I think it's like
Yeah.
what people in England deal with. They like fucking kill themselves over it.
You're lacking in that vitamin D.
So yeah. So but anyway, pal, let's jump into the episode.
Yeah, dude.
So we're gonna be talking about downtime now. Obviously, we have done a maintenance episode already.
Yeah.
Which everyone can go back into the archives and have a look at. It was one of our popular episodes.
Yeah, I
Much
think it was
of
actually.
probably gonna,
Oh, God.
much of this content is probably going to much of this content's probably going to fall back into that episode, but we can
Yeah.
definitely touch on some new topics, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, what have you been up to? Like,
Okay,
obviously, you know.
so yeah, so the thing with me is that I'm incredibly productive and proactive with any downtime. So I wish I had some examples for you, because I actually do have them in front of my computer, but you can't see them. But you know, I mean, I class downtime as after 6 or 7 o'clock at night, where I can't be physically running my tools.
Yeah.
So every night to me is downtime, and I'm cutting up Catch Pro stickers, and I'm making boxes and doing all of the things that I can do
Yeah.
that doesn't create loud noise. But in terms of a legitimate lawn mowing business, your downtimes would usually come when there's lots and lots and lots of rain.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's basically
And
the only time I've ever got. It's been good though. Like, I've done a fair bit around the house, you know, removing tiles from the floor and such. But that was just last night. But no, I get it. So has your routine when it's wet weather would have completely changed now? It's not like you're pulling machines down and doing that sort of stuff. You'd be just as productive as you were before.
yeah, it has completely changed for me, but I still, remember the days now. This has lightened up a lot since we've started using battery equipment.
Yeah.
Usually your rain days would consist of pulling all those two strokes off, getting all the air filters out, cleaning the carbies, just rewiring your spools, like doing all the things that you can possibly do so that when the weather allows it, you're ready to just hit the field running.
Yeah, makes money.
Everything from your push mowers to your ride-on mowers. I know that Rusty used to do like fucking surgery on our hedge trimmers. Now, in the case of, if I was a genuine lawn mowing contractor this weekend, we would have still been prevented from doing stuff like this, because the rain was so bad that the only place you could actually get shelter and stay dry was physically indoors.
Yeah.
If I had tried to bring a machine in here, it would have made an incredible mess.
Well, where you are right now actually flooded, isn't it? Like it took on water?
Yeah, and when I say it flooded, like it was minimal. If I didn't act on it, it would have been a lot worse. So it was minimal. But if I had opened up the shed door and tried to bring machines in, it would have been a different story.
Grass bukkake.
Mud bukkake.
Yeah.
Would have been a mud, would have, yeah.
Even better.
So, but like when we're talking about downtime and stuff, it's not just the maintenance side. There's a whole back end of business, whether it's your accounting, scheduling. There's a lot of different things that you can do to be productive, to still run your business without physically being on the tools, correct?
Yeah, 100%. On days like, well, I say days, but it's been like almost a week, almost 5 days going, like a business week of just solid rain. So it gives you an opportunity, even though you don't know when the rain's going to stop, you can kind of guesstimate. But it gives you an opportunity to go back and have a look at your numbers and things like that. Something that, takes a little bit of time and something that you don't get to do, every week. We had a look at, obviously there's things happening behind the scenes with buying businesses and stuff, and looking at what machines will cost, looking at repayments for these machines and how they'll be incorporated by fees that we're going to charge in the future, and other things like ordering, calling my local mower supply shop and getting oils and all that sort of shit. There's just so much you can do, and if you don't do it, it's sort of a wasted sort of opportunity, and then you have to try and fit it in around your actual work schedule. So that's how I find it.
That's the way that I've always seen it as well. Like I've always felt really uncomfortable in between the hours of 7 and 3, or maybe 6 to 4 in some extreme cases. I've always felt really uncomfortable in those hours on a Monday through Friday if I don't do work stuff. Now there'll be exceptions. It's not like if I've worked really hard and I don't have that much to do on a Friday, on a typical Friday, you might see me finish up everything around 12 or 1 o'clock and really not concentrate on work again until the next day. Or during the normal working week, I mindset where if I don't actually do some work, I can't actually relax and function properly. So if there's people out there that are wired the same way, this downtime, this bad weather, or let's say you're isolating from COVID-19, all of these things, it can be an incredibly productive time to really, really dot your I's and cross your T's.
Yeah.
And I'd say the biggest things are probably your scheduling, then your finances with all your tax, your BAS, just making sure you're profitable. Maybe there's some new structures that you want to implement. What a better way to start them off when you can't go outside and work. I'd also say that maintenance is probably another big, heavy factor.
Yeah, maintenance for me is normally structured in. I did a few extras, like I just looked at my decks and I thought I may as well have a look and see. Made sure all my decks are all level and pitched to the right pitch. Some other things that I've done is I've actually, it was just random. I was just sitting around. I was a little bit bored. Obviously, me and my daughter are down here and she doesn't want to hang out with me. So I just got on Google and I just started emailing any large body corporate that had an email address. So I targeted a few big ones, and whether I get a response or not is purely by chance, because obviously everyone's going to be running around like headless chooks for the next couple of weeks. But no, I just took the opportunity. There's a few that I already had my eye on. I thought, well, while I'm sitting around doing nothing, I may as well have a look at them. But yeah, I took the opportunity. What else did I do? I cleaned a couple of my tanks, my poison tanks. I just gave them a clean out, made sure all the filters were sweet. I did service the Tiger Cat. Pushy, made sure the blades are sweet, oil's sweet. Yeah, man, it's just there's limitless things that you can do just to make down the road a little bit easier. I did tidy up. I've got a little room underneath the stairs. I call it the dungeon. That's where all my stuff is stored while my shed's being built. And I made it all beautiful, nice and neat. And obviously when we had a bit of a leak, I've had to rip everything back out, and I completely destroyed all of my hard work. So it was a bit sad, but what do you do? But yeah, man.
Yeah. And I also took a fair bit of time to try and, I'm always continuing to do my networking. So, just focusing a little bit more on social media. I know that doesn't always cross over into the lawn mowing industry, even though there is some great lawn mowing contractors that have some excellent profiles.
Definitely.
And downtime and rainy days is always a great time to create some new content and network.
Yeah, well, like you said before, we've been we've been chatting with the guys from Stripe Life. There's lots of people have actually reached out to me and just asked if we're okay. So networking's huge. Like just chatting with people about machines. A couple of guys are looking for some of the bigger V rides when they're coming in. So I just pass the information down the track and make sure that they all get what they're after. And yeah, man, it's cool. It's good not to be in a rush too. These kind of, it's been a big season. So I have sort of taken this as an opportunity to have a little bit of a relax. Obviously we got COVID upstairs, so that's no good. But yeah, man, it's still a bit relaxing. Obviously, Lou's not relaxed. He's got 2 kids up there. I only got 1. But yeah, you got to take a breath when you can. You take a breath, and sort of things become a little bit clearer as well. I find like like I get really rattled. Like I'll be full on at work, and then full on when I get home, and then it's when I start to miss things. Start to forget to send people invoices, forget to send them bank details, and forget to communicate properly. And then an opportunity like this, you go, all right, take a breath, catch up on everything, and then you can start, Monday or in this case, Tuesday, fresh, no worries at all.
So would you suggest to, our listeners that, because, I'm not really in this mindset. It always, for some, like I said, it doesn't seem to sit with me. That's not how I function. But does it seem like when there is downtime, it's a great idea to, yes, be proactive and be productive in spurts, but at the same time, take a little bit of time to refreshen yourself, whether that is maybe going fishing, taking the dog out, spending time with the missus, maybe being on XNXX, whatever the case, just saying.
Special massage.
Would you also say that, like, you can be productive and proactive and doing all your paperwork and staying busy as long as you possibly can, but at the same time, it can be just as fulfilling and just as beneficial to use that downtime for a little bit of recreational use and, emotional healing?
Yeah. And you need it too. Like this season that we've had has been one of the biggest seasons that I've ever experienced. So, there was a bit of fatigue. We had Christmas and I had a good break at Christmas and I went back into work and I felt amazing. So I'm hoping, even though it's going to be a slop fest for the next couple of weeks, I'm hoping that I do have some more juice in the tank and it'll take me through to the cooler months, and then we can start all of our cool month cleanups and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, it'll be smooth sailing until we kick off again next summer, and yeah, see what the season brings us next year. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, it's just not the way that my brain functions. There'll be times where, yes, I might, take a little bit of a time out. But for me, if I knocked off at, say, 3 or 4 o'clock and didn't do any more work again, that would be an incredible break for me.
Yeah.
I am typically one of those people that, and it's different. I'm not physically out there mowing. So like when I used to physically mow, it's not like I would come home and do my own gardens until dinner time every day.
Yeah.
But being now that I have to do so much organizing, so much paperwork, building, wrapping products, anytime I can do that where I'm not in an intense rush is actually very therapeutic to me. So quite often, we've got like a morning rush where we get products out.
Yep.
And then, I pretty much got a whole time period from, say, 12 o'clock that day until 10 or 11 the next day where I really, I can, if I use that whole time period, then I can relax and get the rest of those next orders out. If I didn't do any work again that day, then that the next day would be really intense for me. But, it could be a case of have dinner with the family, put the kids to bed, come back, put some, gangster rap on really lightly and just, wrapping up blades and just doing orders like that. And it's actually really relaxing for me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. When I don't have to, so normally my maintenance routine, I try and keep my weekends free. So I do come home and I try and get all my shit done while I'm already dirty. I think, why jump out in the yard on a weekend and, miss out on time with the kids and, get filthy all over again. I used to do that. My old job used to be I'd finish on Saturday lunchtime and I'd start again Sunday afternoon. So I really didn't have a good home life balance in that old job. So completely flipped it on in this new career. So I try and get all my maintenance stuff done in the afternoon. And it's a rush. Like I'm normally like, I've got to get this done. I've got to get these blades sharpened before it gets too late. And, situations like this, I can pull my blades off, go and have a coffee, come back while the oil's draining and, knock me blades off. And I can just take my time. Like I can just, walk around, check some other stuff out, do a bit of this, do a bit of that. I don't know. It just feels so much better when you don't have to rush. And then when you get back to work, you literally don't have to worry about anything except for doing your work. You don't have, invoices that you have to send rattling around in the back of your brain. The places you've been, disputing in your brain. Should I message them? Should I not message them? That's all done. I've sent those emails now. I don't have to worry about it. If they message me back, they message me back. If they don't, they don't. It's just, I don't know. It's just a relieving period after you've had a bit of downtime. Even with the shit, like obviously the house flooded and I've got to repair the fucking house now. But it's still, I'm still relaxed.
And we've been seeing some posts across various social media posts lately about burnout. Now, what these contractors are describing is that they still feel like they're unemployable, like they really couldn't work for anyone else, but they've lost a lot of motivation to just continue running their business. Now, we know as small business owners, you really don't have anyone else to rely on but yourself. And that can always build a lot of pressure, a lot of tension. Some people thrive off it. Like I am someone that thrives off it. I really thrive under pressure and I love being busy. And that's when I feel very successful. When I'm not busy, I just am I feel like a miserable failure. Now, not everyone is wired like that. And it can obviously, that can be great. But what are some of the things, if someone, had come to you and said that they were experiencing what we're going to call burnout, where they, for some reason, they're just unhappy being a contractor. They're not excited about getting up and going the next day to work. What are some of the things that this person can do, or what is something that you can suggest to give that person a bit of a lift and, hit that restart button?
Oh, look, there's been multiple times where people have said that, and I've reached out to them personally and sort of said, take some time out. Your business is important, obviously, but you are your business. Like, who else is going to run your business but you? Like, if you've got a crew, you can look at things like, delegating more responsibility to your crew and stepping back. Even if you're finishing like 1 or 2 hours earlier a day, that's huge. Like 1 or 2 hours, you can sit down, have a coffee, and just think things through. Obviously, I know you, and I know that you thrive on pressure. You love that. I do in the work sense, like with my business, but when my work interacts with my family and things get a little bit messy there, I'm like, yeah, okay, pull back. And one of the things I like to do is I'll sit and I'll look at my customer base and I'll be like, is it time to drop someone? Is it time to employ someone? Is it time to renegotiate prices so this is more worthwhile to me? There's so many different things. one of the biggest things I think is you got to look at your workload. If you're fritzing out, if you're burning out big time, you need to look at your workload, because that's obviously where it comes from. It isn't just a physical burnout as well. I found a lot of it was a mental sort of burnout. But yeah, looking at your customer base and saying, is there people here that are not worth me stressing over, and I can get rid of them. If you can afford.
I mean, I have personally been there before, where maybe I'm not, so burnt out physically, but mentally and emotionally, I've been burnt out. And I would probably suggest that, in my experience, it was mostly due to financial stress. So, I felt like I had been working so hard, and I felt like I had done so many things and really put myself out there, and I wasn't seeing as many financial gains. Now, we didn't have podcasts and social media and, friendship groups, support groups, things like that. We didn't have any of that back then. I did.
Yeah.
The way that I dug myself out of it was I said to myself, what are the things that are making me unhappy? Just like you suggested with the client list or the workload, delegating, whatever the case may be. And I know that was right when I was in the transition from moving from the residential market. I felt very, very strong about, running. I felt like I could run the biggest site ever, and I wasn't getting my break. But I think the important message is that if you're feeling burnout, you need some sort of restart or refresh. So, it would be very difficult to go back to a situation where you needed to be employed. So you've already got this business and you've already got this platform, but rather than sort of, I guess, to use the analogy, throwing the baby out with the bathwater, instead of throwing it all out and throwing it all away, some sort of restart or refresh can really, really, boost morale. I know something for me, and people are probably going to think I sound like, some pig-headed jerk right now, but sometimes just buying a new piece of equipment can really motivate you to go to work. And I'm not saying, obviously we try and do this podcast to help people save financially and, other bits and pieces. But sometimes going to work, and you've got a fucking whippersnipper that conks out, or it won't start, or you're cleaning it every day, you're doing all of these things. Sometimes, and I know that not everyone's bank account will allow it, but if you had picked up a new, like, I know when I get fresh gear, I can't wait to go to work.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a new pair of work pants. Sometimes it's a new pair of boots. Sometimes it's a whippersnipper. Sometimes it's a mower, whatever it is. But that's another example of something that can really give you, a positive boost.
Yeah, definitely. Treating yourself is such a big part. Like you want to see financial gains, but you also want to be, happy. Like, I think that's a big thing of business. I find with a lot of people too that they don't realize, they obviously have their own business, but I don't know if everybody has realized that it's your business. It's not your customer's business. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it. You could fold it tomorrow, or you can pursue whatever you want to pursue. Like, you can do whatever, as long as you do it the right way. Like, in regards to the customer base, like, you can cut half your customers tomorrow. If you do it the right way, there'll be no repercussion. Like, obviously informing them and not just ghosting them is a big thing. But dude, burnout, I reckon, is probably one of the biggest killers in the industry. Even, I think, taking a weekend away, just to recharge. My wife and I, we actually have sort of said this year, We want to. I think we only got away like once or twice last year, and we want to do it a bit more this year. Just the two of us. Like we'll leave the kids behind, go for the two of us, have a recharge night, and come home fresh. It's just the simple things, I think. And like you said before, I actually got new boots the other day, and I was so excited to wear them, and then fucking never stopped raining. And I was like, look at my new boots, and they were fucking saturated. I'm like, shit. But yeah, even a new hat, man. I love hats, new hats. I'm a sucker for things like that, though. Like new shirts, new boots, new hat, new sunnies. I got some new bad workwear slip-on sunnies, the old safeties, and they're fucking sick. I don't know, just the little things, man. It's keeps life interesting, keeps the job interesting. But I'm definitely looking forward to my new purchases.
It's good to be able to reward yourself every once in a while. Like no matter what, you need to stay profitable. But sometimes, like let's say if you're struggling physically, emotionally, or mentally, you're already at a point where you might still be profitable, but who knows how long you'll be profitable for. And sometimes, making that purchase or, whatever it is, you can look at it as like, oh, okay, now I'm outlaying money. But if that small outlay turns into, being able to go to work and fully function and get your workload completed in that week, then it's a positive, right?
Yeah, even if it's just as simple as taking an hour and a half, 2 hours out and going and getting a massage. If you're physically wrecked, go and get a loosen up down at the old massage shop, however you want to take that. And freshen up. Maybe you need to, if you are physically taxed, then maybe look into physio or see some sort of specialist that can sort of, I had to go and get my feet sorted because we're on our feet all the time. And obviously I'm a big dude, I got flat feet. They started to give me pain. So I spent a bit of money, got new inner soles for my shoes and learned how to strap my feet properly and things like that. And I've been able to manage the pain and stuff like that. So that was getting to me. Physically, I was in trouble. At one stage, I was actually in a lot of pain, and I never have days off unless they are for rain days or unless I'm really, really sick. But that was getting to me. So I just took the steps to try and make it as easy as possible. It's a very taxing job, and people wonder why we charge what we charge. It's because we're not just equipped with some of the coolest stuff in the industry, but man, we're also burning our bodies. it's a very labor intensive job, and sometimes people don't understand that. But yeah, man, I don't know. You go to physio now, don't you? Like you do a bit of physio?
I go to the chiropractor minimum once a month. If not every fortnight.
Yeah.
And I mean, I never did those things in my career as a lawnmower man. And, I was younger. I was a different guy back then. But ever since the back injury, I'm completely different. Everything contributed to my back injury, from being physically and mentally and emotionally taxed. You're just working your body so hard all the time, you're really not giving yourself a moment to repair. Mixed with the everyday hustle of a lawnmower man as well. Like I know I tried so hard to prepare my own lunch, to have ham and salad sandwiches and some fruit and biscuits or whatever the case is, and no matter what, it always I just at 10 o'clock, I just needed a burger. So everything from diet to, and then not only the hydration side of things, especially being in Queensland, it's so humid. So you can drink liters and liters and liters of water, but when you're sweating that much and then you're pissing out all that water, you're losing all of your electrolytes and salts and stuff that balances your body. So, migraines were a big, chronic fatigue. When your muscles are fatigued and you start overworking them, that's when things start to blow up inside you. And I mean, I'm a living example of that. I've been able to correct some of those things, but it's really all a part of the conversation. And I think, my advice is not, I'm still a smoker. I still drink lots of coffee. I still eat my burgers. But being able to find, I think excessive amounts of anything are bad for you. So, fruit is great for you, but you can't eat fruit 100% of the time, or you'll start to feel malnourished in other areas. So rather than, I'm not coming at people from the sense of like, hey, I'm perfect and be like me. It's more along the lines of, don't let it get to the point where you end up like me. Don't let it get to the point where, you have to experience some sort of negative, and that is everything from staying hydrated, eating well enough where you're not taxing yourself physically, and all of these elements will contribute to a happier life and a better business.
Yeah, it's all about being proactive, not reactive. Sort of knocking it on the head before it becomes a problem is huge. And I've made some mistakes along the way, definitely. But
I mean, that's what this. Sorry to cut you off. I know that's rude, but that's what this whole podcast is really about. Like, this is two guys who have been in the same business as all of our listeners, and we don't have, or we haven't ever had the hugest lawn mowing businesses. They've been a good modest size, but we've been able to learn off each other's mistakes, learn off some other people's mistakes. We've made our own mistakes. And it's a way to say, like, especially for any, people who have only been in the industry for 2 to 3 years, we've been able to reach out to those people and be like, hey, we did this wrong when we came to it. That's just a heads up, so that when you get to it, you've got that information to, potentially not make the same mistake we had.
Yeah. I mean, it's like that for everything too. Like, I feel like another thing, if you've got a piece of equipment that's not doing right by you, I think, like, understandably, sometimes there's no money. Like, you don't have the money to go, all right, I'll buy a new ride-on or something like that. But something like a whipper snipper, if it's not doing the job, it's going to be costing you money because it's slowing you down. And sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and just pay that little bit extra, get a new whippy, and get through the day. Same with blowers. I'm lucky enough that I've got a couple of everything. So my PB 8010 is cooked. It's blowing fuel out of the fucking exhaust, which is doing my head in. It's been to the shop once, and it's got to go back again. So I've got my old Shindaiwa 803, EB 803, and it's still going strong. So I put new fuel in it and everything, and away it goes on the second pull. But like, that's another thing. Like, it is hard, I know, for smaller guys to have that much equipment laying around. It's not being used, but sort of covering yourself. Maybe have a separate account where you put like $20-$30 in every week if you can afford to, and bank a little bit of money. So if something happens, you've got a little bit of a tool fund there. You can just dip straight into it, soften the blow. You're back on board straight away with a new tool. Not only will you be more efficient, you won't have that stress that this fucking thing's going to break down. One of the saddest things I see, one of the things I hate to see the most, is when someone buys a new tool and it's fucked from factory. That's one of the worst. That's That's one of the worst things. It's one of the worst feelings. You're like, oh, is this just going to be the story of this tool? I think some of these things, yeah, if something comes out of the factory cooked, I think it should be an instant replace, unless it's something external like a trimmer head or a trigger brakes or something like that. I know it's hard it's easy to say from my perspective, but if you get a brand new tool and it doesn't work straight out of the box, then you've always got a little bit of doubt in that tool, I have to admit.
I mean, that's gonna take someone who was already on the edge, and they've tried to correct this with some retail therapy. That's just gonna fucking take them straight over the edge to hell.
Yeah, 100%.
So to piggyback on what you had said before about maybe dedicating $20 or $30 to some sort of sinking fund. One thing that I did, and I do something similar with Catch Pro as well, but I would pick one regular maintenance client that you have, and I would dedicate that job to a sinking fund. So it might be like an $80 a fortnight job, which works out, to around your $40 a week, whatever the case may be. But even if you break that down to, and not everyone can get finance, and lots of people do not like finance. Personally, I think finance is, and I'm no accountant, I'm no mathematician, but there's a few key factors why I like finance. One is because you don't have to save any of your own money. You can essentially, let's say you're looking to invest in a whole bunch of Ego battery products, and it's going to cost you $6,000. Now, instead of saving that money, because you have to save that money first, so you're going to live without it because you have to save it.
Yeah.
Then when you make the purchase, you don't have it then either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you never, from the day you start saving to forever, you never end up having that money. Whereas if you look at some sort of finance that works, you can be parting for as little as $30 a week, and your capital gains on that, let's say, in this instance with, say a battery, purchase, you're going to immediately be saving on 2-stroke fuel and oil, which might not offset you that whole $30 finance per week, but it's certainly going to contribute. You'll reap those rewards long and well and truly after that finance is up. But yeah, I mean, maybe taking a look at something like that, I think that's great advice, because the other reasons why I really like finance is because as a person or as a business later on in life, let's say you expand and you need to get like a $30,000 mower. And we've seen this happen. We've seen small businesses that have picked up, they might have a $7,000 ride on, and they might be earning X amount. And then they get a call up to do like a 50-acre subdivision.
Yeah.
Now, if you already have successful financial, if you've been financing equipment for a long time, you immediately have credit history.
Yeah.
If you don't, if you can save that money and buy something outright, but there will come a point where you need some credit history, whether it's good or bad. I know people who have worked their whole lives and they've bought everything outright, and when it came time to get a mortgage, they had no credit history. They owned everything that they had, and that's fantastic, but there's no proof that they were able to pay a loan back, and it was really detrimental to them. So I think finance is fantastic in a business environment where if you're looking to grow, let's even take you, for example, you're looking to buy a truck, you're looking to buy a 61 Turf Tiger, all of these things. If you had bought your machines outright, that is one thing. But the fact that you can successfully show that you can pay these off in a business environment is going to give you credibility.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's 70 something grand straight up. So, yeah, it's a big purchase. But I like that idea of selecting one of your customers and sucking it into a fund every fortnight or whatever. What's that, 80
I've
bucks?
told you before, they're the only ideas I have.
80 bucks
Good
over
ideas.
a year, that's about $2,000. So that's not bad. I mean, that'll get you a new snipper and a new hedger. That's not bad at all. I think I'm going to do that. Maybe I'm picking up all these little backyards now. At one of my big villages, I'm allowed to take on all these little backyards. Maybe I'll suck all those into a fund. Could be a Skull Sessions party fund.
What are we going to buy? Flashlights front of the table?
Yeah, let's do that. Blowmatics. We'll attach them to the back of the chairs or something.
Oh, goodness
Who
me.
knows? No one knows what we're doing from the waist down.
No one even knows if I got pants on today.
That's exactly right. Although this is strange. I'm actually on a couch.
Yeah, well, that is a real casting couch, is it not?
Well, yeah, it is. It's I've got a chase on this side. There's a bit of a nice big bed over this side. It's an electric recliner, so not bad at all.
All right, well, we're going to get ready to wrap today's episode up. Before we go, don't forget everyone to use code SKULL in capital letters for all your bad purchases. Don't forget to check out Bad Workwear. They got lots of great ranges. Their winter range is definitely exciting. The puffer jacket is like my full recommendation. I got this thing last winter. Now I wanted something that kind of looked suave. It's not something that I recommend that you just go out and do like a bunch of gardening in, but if you're operating a machine or if you're on the whippy, it's a pretty good windbreaker. It's not mega heavy too. So it works, but it's not going to make you sweat. So definitely check out their range. And if you're looking to capitalize and save 10%, use Skull at the checkout.
All in capitals. I also can't wait to break out the Rain Defender. I could have used it this weekend, but it wasn't cold at all.
So that's probably the downside to that Rain Defend hoodie is that if it is hot and humid, you ain't gonna want that thing on you. If you do want to stay dry in a cooler climate, that's going to be awesome.
Maybe I can knock the sleeves off one, make it into a shoodie.
Okay, so we'll sign out for now. By the time people hear this, this is going to be dropping on a Thursday. We'll be back on Sunday and every Thursday and Sunday after that. Thanks for joining us.
Later, bud.
Relax and take notes while I take totes of the marijuana smoke. Throw you in the choke, gun smoke, gun smoke.